sponsored by Georgia Pacific. So this morning, the activity we're going to do is a little messy. So you might want to put on some clothes that are already a little dirty or something that you don't mind getting a little bit stained. Obviously, today I wore a white shirt, which was a terrible decision. So today we are making Oobleck. Have you ever read the story Bartholomew and the Oobleck by Dr. Seuss? If you haven't, you should. It's a little long, so I'm not going to read it on this video because we have an activity to get to. So, Oobleck is not a solid and it's not a liquid. Have you ever watched a movie like maybe The Princess Bride where they have to deal with quicksand and they can't swim in it, but they can't step out of it either? This is a little bit like quicksand, but it's a lot more fun. So, most substances change when you change the temperature. So if you boil water, it turns into steam, or if you put water in the freezer, it turns into ice. This liquid does not do that. It doesn't play by the rules. It's called a non-Newtonian fluid. So what you need is some water. I put maybe a little over a cup of water in here, and I went ahead and I put food coloring in it. I want mine to be green so that it's like the Oobleck in the book. Then you need cornstarch. So I'm going to slowly add my cornstarch and I'm going to mix it until we get the right consistency. This is one of the messiest parts because cornstarch goes everywhere. It's teeny tiny little particles. If you can see on my hands, it looks like powder. So we are going to mix our cornstarch, and you should feel it start to dissolve in the water. We want to get to the point where the water starts getting thick and it's harder to stir. So you can see the cornstarch starts out kind of floating on the water. And then as I continue to mix it, it's getting really thick. It's getting harder for me to mix. You're probably going to end up with at least twice the amount of cornstarch as water. So if you use 1 cup of water, you're probably going to need at least 2 cups of cornstarch. And I'm not super measuring this very carefully, but what you can do is if your Oobleck is too runny, you can add more cornstarch, sorry. If it's too runny, you can add more cornstarch. And if it's too thick and it's hard to stir it, you can add more water. We're starting to get to the consistency now, and I'm going to show you in just a minute. So, with the cornstarch and the water, when we make Oobleck, if you squeeze it, you force the cornstarch particles together, which makes it feel like a solid. Or if you tap the top, it feels like a solid because you're squishing all those particles together. But if you let it run through your hands, it's like a liquid. It's pretty cool. And if you want to get really crazy with it, you can make a really large batch of Oobleck. You can actually run across the surface. It's really cool. And it's nice and messy. So that is Tinker with Tuesday, sponsored by Georgia Pacific. We hope to see you next time.